For years, honestly, since 2011 until 2021, so 10 years, I was doing both. I'm a big believer that you can do both, or you can be an intrapreneur as well as an entrepreneur. You have to find what works for you. So let's start with the definition of just entrepreneur, right? I learned in doing some research that this is a French word that really means adventurer or undertaker, which I think makes perfect sense. And this is someone who's literally managing their own business full time. Most entrepreneurs start with a small business and it can grow into an empire. And people love talking about entrepreneurship because there's literally no ceiling. When you're an entrepreneur, you can go as big or as small as you'd like to go, and there is no wrong answer. When people come to me and talk about building a business, many times I ask them, well, where do you want to go? For some of my entrepreneurial friends, making $100,000 a year is enough to operate, to live the lifestyle they love. For some of my entrepreneur friends, they want to be around 200 to 500,000 a year. Other folks are over $1 million a year. Other folks are way more than that. It really just depends on the level and scale that you'd like to do. And many times for entrepreneurs, we also say that as much as you risk is also as much as you can reward. And that kind of leads us right to being an intrapreneur. So this is someone who works at a company that's already founded, and you're doing it inside of the existing company. Now, many times people will say, well, Kimberly, if you're working for someone else, like I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm like, well, we call it intrapreneurship because inside of companies, we need innovation. We need people to drive new processes, new systems, new technology, and you're able to build and grow within the safe confines of a larger organization while getting that biweekly, monthly, whatever paycheck on a consistent basis. There are so many organizations that allow you to do this. When I think about my own experience in the corporate world and higher education, my last probably 3 or 4 roles were all inaugural, meaning I was the first person to ever be in that role and I built it from scratch. I was very much an intrapreneur, building my own mini organization inside of a much larger organization. The downfall people will say when we talk about intrapreneurship that unlike entrepreneurship, there is a cap. You can create something inside of a company and you may not own it. Many times when you sign on board for an organization, anything you create with them stays with them. So you may not get all the credit, you may not get the bonus or whatever else, but you still get to have that entrepreneurial spirit and you can develop all of the things that you'd like to within the confines of a company. When I worked in corporate America in my inaugural roles, I am so proud of the legacies I was able to create in the companies I worked for and things that are still being used to this day. Meanwhile, I've left years ago at this point.